this is a little experiment that is going on. And Ro, this is for you, dear, so you can see what I'm doing with the alcohol fire. For those of you who recognize the little container there in the sand, it is indeed the incense burner that I am using for my Kiffy. The ash has been removed, and she is going to have double duty tonight and be used for another purpose. And the ash will go back after tonight. We are going to be making an offering in this offering bowl of representations of the 4 elements to encourage the return of the sun. And then we are going to start a small cauldron fire and meditate on the flames that rise up from that. And Ro, you were unfamiliar with alcohol fires, so I wanted to show you. I'm also experimenting with, I want it to burn just a certain length of time, so I have been playing with ratios to try and get it close to the time I want it to burn. You don't want to be sitting here 10 minutes later still watching the flame. So I am experimenting with ratios to get it exactly where it needs to be for tonight's ritual. So let me show you what an alcohol fire is. This is the magical, mystical ingredients for an alcohol fire. The cool thing about alcohol fires, no smoke, a lot of heat, but no smoke, so they can represent a bonfire or a balefire, and you can use them inside. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of Epsom salts in the bottom of my little cauldron, and then 1 tablespoon of rubbing alcohol. It doesn't have to be as specific as that. What you want to do is you want to cover your Epsom salts just slightly above them with the alcohol. So you can make a huge one if you're outside. You can make all kinds of medium-sized ones, and I'm trying to aim for a relatively small one. So I'm actually measuring, which is not something you would normally have to do, because I'm trying to do, I guess you could call it a controlled burn. So I'm going to put a tablespoon of Epsom salts in my little mini cauldron, and then a tablespoon of rubbing alcohol to cover it. And then I'll show you what happens next. So inside is the alcohol and the Epsom salts. Ernie, you need to go on. Sorry about the wiggling camera. Starts off pretty blue. That's the alcohol tendency. And then, as you can see, it's a very beautiful fire. I would advise anybody who is doing this and experimenting, you need a completely heat-resistant vehicle. I have found cast iron works best, so little mini cauldrons work wonderfully. Anything else, even if it's oven-proof, it's melted and burned on me, and see how pretty it is? It's like a little bonfire, a little torch. And you will notice I have next to it a saucer. If for any reason I had some trouble with that, it grew too high or was spitting or anything, it's just one of those safety things that in the room where you're burning an alcohol fire, do keep a saucer that you can put on top of it to smother it, just in case you need to say bye-bye, fire. Now I'm going to let this burn and time it. I want something that's going to be no more than 5 minutes in burning. That's why I'm trying the measuring system of using a tablespoon of each. Whatever container you have, the Epsom salts needs to be cradled in the bottom of it, and the alcohol should barely cover it. And then they feed off of each other, and this is what you get. This is amazing for scrying. Amazing. The flames that come out of an alcohol fire truly dance, and they are really excellent to do scrying with. I probably do, once a week at least. I sit down for meditation, and my meditation will be a small fire like this, and just see what comes to me in the dancing flames. So I'm going to sit here and enjoy it for hopefully just 2 or 3 minutes more until it is ready to die out, so I can time it to see if I've got a good ratio for tonight. So what you end up with after your fire has burnt down is goo. Kind of gooey leftover Epsom salt. And if I am meditating and I'm done when it's done, I immediately scrape that out. Otherwise, you can let it be, and it hardens. Hardens up, really becomes firm, packed, and solid. And you can melt it a bit with hot water to get it out of your vessel. So there is a little bit on the mini lesson on making an alcohol fire. The caution you need to take is just enough alcohol to cover the Epsom salts in a small, completely heat-proof container, and always have, as a safety precaution, always have something you know that has a flat enough bottom that it will fit right over your container. If for any reason that gets out of control or it's not being what you want it to be, you just smother it. For safety's sake, you smother it.